Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. So I think we might have hit a record on this channel outside of the whole trucker convoy thing. I think this is maybe the third or fourth Justin Trudeau / Canadian politics video that I've made this month. That's definitely a channel record outside of the Freedom Convoy, which was obviously massive viral headline world news. And that's the thing with Canada. Justin Trudeau has obviously been a complete utter disaster, but he has put Canada's name on the map in a way. Maybe not for the right reasons, but without Justin Trudeau's authoritarian experiments and ridiculous gaffes and goofs, well then we probably would have made exactly 0 videos related to Canadian affairs going on. And so, I guess there's that. They say there's no such thing as bad PR or bad press, although I'm not so sure that applies to the world of politics and world leaders. Folks, the first headline of today's video from the Gateway Pundit really, summarizes this entire video, and the reason we keep talking about whatever's going on in Canada. The title of the article is, "What is Wrong with Canada?" And that right there is a great question, and great question indeed. This has to be one of the most ridiculous moments, one of the most ridiculous scandals ever recorded in any Western governmental house. Today's clip comes from the Canadian Parliament, and boy oh boy, it shows exactly what we're dealing with. We are dealing with a cult. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, I'm sure a lot of you guys already know what's going on. For those of you who don't, well, prepare to have your mind blown. The first article we got here is from the Gateway Pundit that says, "What is wrong with Canada?" A few months ago, I wrote a piece on the Nazi heritage of Chrystia Freeland, the Deputy Prime Minister of Canada. Chrystia insists that there are no Nazi or Nazi sympathizers in her family tree. This is simply not true. You can read my piece here. I guess I'll link that piece that he wrote in the description if I even remember, but if I don't remember, the piece is titled "Chrystia Freeland Ignores Her Family's Nazi History" on sonar21.com. But anyways, let's continue with the article. He writes, "Well, it looks like the love of the Third Reich is not confined to Mrs. Freeland alone. Just the other day, while Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the Canadian Parliament, the Canadians thought it a swell idea to wildly celebrate an elderly gent who was part of the Waffen-SS. What is wrong with these people?" Mr. Yaroslav Hunka is a former Ukrainian soldier of the 14th Waffen-SS Grenadier Division. He was praised by the Speaker of the Parliament for fighting for Ukraine's independence against the Russians during World War II. Right there, we have a big problem. The Speaker of Parliament displayed an incredible ignorance of history. During World War II, Canada, as part of the British Commonwealth, was an ally of Russia. Back then, it was called the Soviet Union. The Russians lost more than 1 million soldiers fighting to free Ukraine from the tyranny of Hitler. Many Canadians died fighting Nazis like Mr. Hunka. These Canadian members of Parliament take stupid to a new low. They are a disgrace to the memory of their fathers and grandfathers who died because wretches like Hunka enlisted with the SS and fought for Adolf Hitler. And so, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can get the context at this point. This happened on the Canadian House floor.
Zelensky's speech received at least a dozen standing ovations. There was also one for this man, a 98-year-old Ukrainian Canadian who fought for Ukrainian independence against the Russians during the Second World War.
And apparently this individual that they were clapping for and wildly cheering for was a member of the SS during World War II. Based on the obvious, let's call it, war dynamic of the time, Ukraine wasn't exactly on the right side of history at the time. So the Liberal Party of Canada, Justin Trudeau's political party, invited Mr. Zelensky to the Canadian Parliament and also brought a Ukrainian soldier from World War II and gave him a standing ovation. They gave a Nazi a standing ovation. The question stands, right? What is wrong with Canada? What is wrong with Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party? And probably the most important question, what is wrong with this pro-war, war-mongering cult where no questions asked, no context thought of, completely ignorant of basic history, supposedly professional, educated, knowledgeable politicians and people simply without question just go along, repeat the talking point, or cheer for whatever it is, as long as the, I guess we could call it attached context, is Ukraine or Ukrainian. Like a bunch of seals. Arf, 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 arf. No question, these people are all in. It's a very weird cult-like behavior, where obviously this sort of stance has completely taken over, and people people are just blindly following at this point. You know, a mistake like this could only happen in a situation where people are just blindly following the official narrative. Nobody tried educating themselves on who this individual is, you know, what he as an individual represents. Nobody even questions, they just stand up and clap. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not standing up and clapping for anybody unless I actually understand what it is that their achievement of significance actually is. These absolute fools, and obviously it's not a great situation for little Justin Trudeau after years of accusing the opposing side of standing with extremists and Nazis and whatnot. Here we have Justin Trudeau and his entire political party, literally this time, aligning themselves with, well, you get the point. Full panic has hit. Of course, Justin Trudeau very quickly had to come up with a defense. And well, his defense was pretty much as pathetic and dishonest and manipulative as you might expect.
Obviously, it's extremely upsetting that this happened. The speaker has acknowledged his mistake and has apologized. But this is something that is deeply embarrassing to the Parliament of Canada and by extension to all Canadians. I think particularly of Jewish MPs and all members of the Jewish community across the country who are commemorating Yom Kippur today. I think it's going to be really important that all of us push back against Russian propaganda, Russian disinformation, and continue our steadfast and unequivocal support for Ukraine as we did last week with announcing further measures to stand with Ukraine in Russia's illegal war against it.
Yep, you heard it right. Justin Trudeau and all of his little peons celebrated the life of a 1940s German Allied soldier, and his defense was, well, we need to make sure that we continue to push back against Russian propaganda and Russian disinformation. I mean, where does this guy come from? Who is this guy? More importantly, where did Canada find this guy? And how is he Prime Minister? I mean, I've never seen anything like it. The level of dishonesty, the propaganda, and of course, to top it all off, the beautiful cherry on top, the sheer stupidity of it all. I mean, the absolute sheer incompetence of it all. How does this happen? I mean, this kind of thing makes Joe Biden's eulogizing of Robert Byrd seem like a minor affair, and the response is now making it even worse. Either it's Justin Trudeau's empty words related to supposed Russian disinformation, or it's Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party Canadian Parliament member telling people, quote, not to politicize this situation.
I want to please ask all colleagues, particularly those in the Conservative Party of Canada, to make sure that we do not politicize this issue. I don't think it helps anybody. I think we need to make sure that we move forward, recognize this mistake, and stand in solidarity together to reiterate our commitment to Jewish Canadians, but also to Ukrainian Canadians and the people who are fighting for freedom, for peace, and for justice in Ukraine right now.
Again, a very similar kind of question comes to mind. Who is this person, and what the hell am I listening to? Don't politicize this? As if Justin Trudeau and, frankly, liberals across the Western world haven't been accusing their political opponents of being Nazis for the last, let's call it, 8 years. All they've done is politicize the historical events in the 1940s to their perceived benefits. All they've done is launch these slanderous, ridiculous attack campaigns, and now all of a sudden, they don't want you to politicize this situation. Oh, that would be going too far. That would be highly inappropriate. I mean, what a bunch of nutcases. Well, if you didn't think Justin Trudeau's political career was over yet, oh, trust me when I tell you it's over. He's already down at 10 points in the polls. Now with this scandal and with this ridiculous response, this guy is done, never to be elected again. That's my prediction, at least. What an incredible fall from grace. From the front page of every magazine, Justin Trudeau, the future of liberal politics, to one of the biggest laughingstocks on the world stage. I mean, for Pete's sakes, this guy is worse than Joe Biden. At least Joe Biden has an excuse. Joe Biden's obviously unwell. Justin Trudeau, he's not unwell or suffering from anything. He's just himself. And that's kind of the problem. I mean, let's really put it into perspective here. Just keep in mind, you have the leading political party of a G7 nation that brought a former SS fighter to the floor of Parliament and gave him a standing ovation. You literally could not write this level of stupid. But understanding the cult-like context, this type of ridiculous situation is far from surprising. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.